Hello everyone, my name is Andy Hammermeister and I'm the Director of the Organic Agriculture Centre of Canada at Dalhousie University. Today I'm coming to you to talk about prioritizing research for the evolution of organic agriculture. This is a process that we're undertaking as part of the Organic Value Chain Roundtable and its Research Needs and Prioritization Task Force. Essentially, we're trying to go across the country to identify what the research needs are, and then we're going to go about a process of trying to prioritize those research needs so that those priorities could be expressed to different research and funding programs. So today we're going to go through I'll give you a quick overview of the research needs considerations that we have in the country. We're currently at the end of our National Organic Science Cluster program, which is ending in 2013. It started in 2013 and is ending in 2018. And so as a result, the government is consulting with us on what the next research priorities should be. And we need to use that information to help design our next organic science cluster, as well as support researchers in deciding what research they should be focusing on, and hopefully also informing other funding bodies as to what the research priorities are in organic agriculture. So the national sector is really interesting, but I want to take a little step back and take a look at the global movement. We're currently in the process of going through something that's called Organic 3.0 within the global movement. It's a revisioning of what organic agriculture should be. And if we look at Organic 1.0, this is the time frame of the pioneers, and they basically identified how the link between soil health, plant health, and the health of people and livestock as well. And they laid the groundwork for the principles of organic agriculture and started the movement. Organic 2.0 is the development of the movement into a regulated system with defined standards, and now that leads to international trade agreements and allows us to trade organic across the borders, and also to have labels or logos that clearly define that a product is organic. But we're also looking at moving into the new era of organic, which is being described as Organic 3.0. And this is a fresh new visioning of what organic should be about in the coming decades. So if we look at the growth of organic agriculture, we can see that it's evolving very quickly. It's over $80 billion now, and it's present in 82 countries with organic regulations. There's over 2 million organic producers around the world, and it's the acreage continues to grow fairly rapidly. And it's no better to see this growth in the organic sector unless you go to trade shows like BioFac in Nuremberg, Germany, which I had the opportunity to visit a few years ago. And this is just the new new products exhibit area that is showing hundreds of new products that are entering into the organic marketplace. And so it's very interesting. You have everything from olive oils to packaged products, like baby foods. But the organic agriculture has moved beyond just food products and is also moving into products like bath aids and beauty and cosmetic aids as well. In addition, we see organic moving into the textile industry and beyond. So we have clothing that's being developed with organic practices. So organic is becoming more than just about food. It's becoming a lifestyle choice. So as we start to prioritize our research and think about where we want to go with the organic sector in the future, is it our plan to continue to add value and expand the role of organic beyond food? Do we want to do a lot of value-added processing, which we seem to be lacking a little bit of in Canada? If we go back to the organic principles of, we see that in Canada we have a regulated system, and the new standards actually reference the IFOAM principles, IFOAM Organics International principles, that relate to ecology, health, fairness, and care. So when we're trying to establish research priorities for organic agriculture, maybe we look at the principles and how can we do research that supports the principles that define organic agriculture. Or perhaps we look at the organic standards and see some challenges or deficiencies within the standard. And maybe we do research that actually supports the standards development directly. But the standards are one thing, and the movement is well established under Organic 2.0, but we also see there's some real challenges, and the global leaders in the organic sector have identified this. They're seeing that we still are only really 1 to 2% of the agricultural land base in the world, and even though we're seeing growth, a lot of the growth is located in extensive agricultural areas where there isn't a lot of intensive agricultural production. We see the growth in producer numbers stagnating, especially in Europe and in North America. And at the same time, we're seeing a continuing increase in demand for organic products that isn't being matched by the production side. So we're not seeing enough producers entering into organic. We also are identifying that there's many global issues, and are we satisfied that organic agriculture is going to be a niche market opportunity for farmers, or are we really trying to address global issues? Do we want agriculture to have impact beyond that 2% of the landscape and 2% of the food supply? So we see many issues in agricultural pollution, biodiversity loss, hunger, climate change, animal welfare, pollution, resource depletion, and so on. Now, organic farmers, we have many different types of organic farmers across the country at many different scales, and all of them are wanting to be profitable, and they also have challenges or barriers that they're facing. Maybe when we design our research priorities, we should be looking at what are the challenges and barriers that these producers are facing. Or maybe we're wanting to identify the new opportunities for new products that these producers could be targeting. So should our research be targeting serving the producers directly? We also talked about how organic research is expanding, and the global issues in organic. And when we think about that 70% of the world's food supply is being provided by small-scale farmers in developing countries, perhaps we should be thinking about not only addressing issues within our own country, but also transferring that knowledge to other countries and to other farmers that don't have access to research and research funding, that don't have the extension training that we might have opportunities to have, and help maybe address global issues from a developing country perspective. So if we take a look at organic research in terms of its technology and innovation, more so from an academic side, we see that we have different clients that we're serving. We have farmers, we have businesses and consumers, we have society overall, and the government. And each of these have different goals. So farmers might be looking at higher production capacity and greater efficiency, higher profitability. Businesses and consumers are looking at market development. They want to see new products and new opportunities that they can develop. Meanwhile, from a society's perspective, we want to see that our agricultural systems are environmentally sustainable, that we have a safe environment to live in, and we're not contaminating our water supplies or food supplies, and our air influencing climate change. And then, of course, we have the social benefits of that influence policy change within governments. But all of these, so all of these groups have different goals and looking for higher profitability. But at the same time, we understand that research costs money. So we need to have money coming back from these different sectors, possibly, to support the research programs. And the cost of research is significant. So when we're designing our research projects and considering that we have, I guess some really large issues in the country, how do we best source industry funding that's required to leverage government matching funds, and what investment should be provided by government into the system? So 200. That is how many organic researchers were identified on the letters of intent for our current Organic Science Cluster program. And not all of those projects were accepted and approved, and so We actually have about 82 or so researchers that are receiving funding on our current organic science cluster. And then there's a number of collaborators that are working on the projects that aren't directly receiving funding. So it brings us up to around 135 to 150. And then we have graduate students that are working on the projects as well. And so let's say we have 200 individuals across the country that are interested in working on organic agriculture and supporting research. So how do we put these brains to work? This is the question that we pose to you. What are the research priorities that you have? And we encourage you to consider these priorities, put them in the context of our global food supply and global issues, or maybe it's your local issues as well, and consider where we want research to go in the future. So I thank you very much for taking the time to participate in this process. It's really, really valuable, and if you're looking for more information about the organic research prioritization process, please contact the Organic Agriculture Centre of Canada and watch the following video that Joanna McKenzie is providing that will talk about the process of submitting your research needs. Thank you.